The Bombardier case is a very interesting case to analyze and try to understand the different parties that exist in a trade dispute and to look for the kind of facts that are going to help you understand the motivations of the different parties. So you'll remember from the earlier video that Bombardier had successfully sold a number of planes to Delta, an American airline. Boeing was very disgruntled about this large sale that Bombardier, a Canadian company, made to Delta, and went to the United States International Trade Commission with complaints that Bombardier was dumping and had profited from illegal subsidies, which gave them an unfair advantage. So this is very typical. What you will see happen is companies that are competing with one another will often petition various governments to say what the other guy is doing isn't fair. And it's very important to go through and look at all of the different actors that are party to the trade dispute to get an understanding of what's going on. You know, what's motivating Boeing? Well, clearly they're upset that Bombardier made a large sale. They would have preferred to have sold planes to Delta. They didn't get the business. So they're looking to try to recover some market share. When you think about another American actor, Delta Airlines themselves, you know, they would be in favor of Bombardier. You know, they wanted to buy those planes. They are counting on that price to be able to profitably run their airline business. So even though they're petitioning the United States International Trade Commission, you've actually got kind of two American companies pitted against one another because of Delta's role as a customer of Bombardier. You then have Airbus, a European aircraft manufacturer who's a direct competitor to Boeing. They started circling around this fight to see how they could perhaps finance Bombardier, turn over some facilities, production facilities to Bombardier so that they could actually make these planes in the US, because that would be detrimental to their competitor, Boeing. You've also got other people involved, like all of us, consumers of flights in the United States. If Delta isn't able to buy good quality, low-cost airplanes, well, they're going to pass that on to the rest of us by the way of higher prices on tickets. And all of the competitors, once they see Delta's prices go up, will likely ratchet their prices up as well to be able to capture more margin. So these are some of the main parties that you see involved in a trade dispute. In this trade dispute, we've got a Canadian manufacturer of aircraft, a U.S. airline as the customer, Boeing as the jilted partner that would like to have been the one making those planes that Delta bought, Airbus as really just trying to see how they can use this dispute to their advantage against Boeing, and of course all of us American consumers. So what actually happened in this trade dispute was the U.S. International Trade Commission. It's a bit of a misnomer. This is an American commission only, although it does look at international trade coming into the U.S. and going out of the U.S. It's bipartisan, staffed with both Democrats and Republicans. They sided with Bombardier. For them, the crucial piece of evidence was the fact that Boeing didn't even make an airplane that was a competitor to what Bombardier was making, a very sort of low to medium range commuter plane. So the ITC lifted the 300% tariffs that were levied by the U.S. Commerce Department. Also, an interesting fact in the case was that even though Boeing was complaining that Bombardier had received about $6 billion in subsidies from the government to develop their aircraft, Boeing neglected to highlight the fact that they have received about $64 billion in federal loans and loan guarantees, in addition to close to $500 million worth of direct grants between the years 2000 and 2014. So when you're looking at a trade dispute, the important thing to do is take a step back, try to reduce the emotion that the different parties are slinging at one another, and really map out who are all these different parties involved and how is this trade dispute, if it's resolved with a tariff or penalties, who's it going to benefit and why? Because this will often help you understand some of the real motivations that different parties have in lodging these disputes.